everyone, and welcome to a mini episode of the Six Yards podcast. A very happy 2021 to each and everyone listening to our podcast. I hope everyone is doing well and everyone's watching a lot of football. In this episode, we'll discuss about Liverpool and maybe their fixtures over the course of the month of December and interesting times as they are going through with a little slump in form as compared to the previous year. I have Abhro with me to discuss on this. Abhro, welcome and a happy new year to you.
Hey, hi Shayan. Thank you so much. Wish you the same.
Oh, bro, interesting times for a Liverpool fan and for the club. Interesting because obviously the table, how it's shaping up, and how Liverpool have fared over the last 9 or 10 odd games. Pretty, different to how they triumphed during their PL title last year. So the obvious, I think, question that everyone is asking is Liverpool gonna stutter down the line? Is this the year that they falter, or is it gonna be just a bump in the road and everything's gonna be fine? What's the, outlook right now?
Well, I definitely hope it's just a bump in the road. But maintaining the consistency of last year was always going to be difficult, and more so given the year that it is, right, with COVID and
Right, absolutely.
with the fixtures and all of that. I mean, everyone knows how much Jurgen Klopp is complaining, right? And also given the number of injuries, right? So I think that is the main problem. It was anyway very difficult to sustain, and I think this is going to be the most crazy year of football in the Premier League. And hopefully, they are able to continue the session, continue with the season, right? So, but
Right.
given whatever is happening in UK, I think almost the entire country has gone into a lockdown. And if they have to stop the league, I really don't know whether they'll be able to complete the league because the Euros was pushed and then World Cups was pushed. Everything is lined up. I
Yeah.
really hope that they keep continuing the overall football season in UK. Coming to Liverpool, yes, as you said, I definitely hope that this is just a mini thing that is happening where they really have not fared well in the December period, right? So, in fact, last year was the December period was the main period where they won almost all the games, including the Club World Cup and all of that, which kind of laid down the marker that where they kind of raced ahead of everyone else, even though they had been winning from the start. But it was the December period where winning, I think, 7 or 8 games. It kind of everyone started to believe that yeah, I mean, we will go all the way probably. But this year, if you see, out of all the matches, the difficult matches Liverpool have won. They have won against Wolves, they have won against Spurs, and they emphatically won against Crystal Palace. But the winnable matches is where they have really faltered. Right? They had draws against Fulham, West Brom, Newcastle, and then finally the loss against Southampton.
Right.
The striking feature in this, right? Again, Liverpool were not able to score. I think that was the first time in the season where Liverpool were not able to score, and especially in the match against Southampton, Danning scored within the first 5 minutes, I think, and for the entire duration of the match, Liverpool were not able to,
Right.
score back. Or
Right.
in previous year, we were quite sure that even if Liverpool is down in the initial period, definitely they are going to come back, which is not happening this season. I mean, or has not happened this season. I think one of the major reasons is, of course, the frailty in the defense right now with Van Dijk not being there, Joel Matip, being the inconsistent self he is with his injuries, right? The rotten luck he has had. He, whenever he plays, he is a fantastic player. But with that kind of a player, he cannot be our main man, right? So
Right.
you need to have someone who's stable, who's consistent over a period of the entire season. So, and with both Van Dijk gone and Matip gone and Joe Gomez gone, especially these three, we anyway have a makeshift defense in Fabinho. Fabinho has really stepped up, but his area in the midfield is again being neglected. Last season, I think Jurgen Klopp is not comfortable playing. Nat Phillips or Rice William consistently. So he played Jordan Henderson in that position against Saints, which really did not work out.
Right.
Because though Fabinho is a defensive midfielder, right, he is doing extremely well. Credit to him, but it's very difficult to change position suddenly, and especially if you're going from a midfield to a defense. However good footballer you are, it's very difficult to cope up. So
Right.
I
Right.
think what Julian Klopp is doing right now is picking. I mean, at least the last match he picked the best players that was available to him instead of picking the best players for that position, right? So, uh,
Right.
which is a very big thing, right? So you have to pick the best players for that position. It's very difficult to keep changing positions of players and expecting them to perform consistently.
Right. Right.
I hope that they fix these issues soon because we know that VVD is not going to come back for the season. Gomez is not going to come back for the season, and Matip, I'm not sure how much he will be able to play consistently. So they really need to buy someone. If Klopp is not comfortable playing Nat Phillips or Rice Williams, right? So you really can't have a
Right.
makeshift defense all the time and expect that the team will perform, right? Because we all
Right.
know, and we have discussed it many times over multiple forums and heard also, right? You're if you have to have a title winning team, it's the defense that wins you titles, right? The
Right.
attackers
Absolutely.
can win you matches, but it's the defense that wins you titles. So if you don't have that, uh, it is going to be difficult, right? Because the entire team composition, the way the team plays, right? So that is getting hampered. I think because of that, the midfield is kind of struggling. In fact, in the Southampton match, I don't know why Jurgen Klopp started both Thiago and Ox together. Both were coming after long-term injuries, right? So
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know why both of them were started together. The midfield was kind of non-existent, right? No,
Right.
I mean Thiago being the wonderful player that he is, but he needs match fitness, right, to really
Yeah.
impact a match. And also in the forward line, Mane's form has been a little down this season, right? So he is not scoring that consistently uh,
Right.
this season. I think
He's been a nightmare for the FPL captains or FPL teams.
yes,
Very sure.
I am sure that they have moved most of money out. I think he has not scored for quite a long time.
Right.
And then Diogo Jota, the one player in form, he is also injured for a long time now. Right?
Right.
So again, that impact sub, we don't have an impact sub. I mean, even if he was not starting, that impact he was creating from the bench, that itself is missing. I really don't understand Klopp's view on Minamino because he really played well in the Crystal Palace match, but after that he did not get a look in. Right? He
Right.
scored his first goal and all. So if he's not, for some reason, he is not keen to give him so many chances.
Right.
So I think if Liverpool has to, I mean, if they have to continue and with this slump, right? United, who have themselves have done fantastically well over the period, right? And all credit to
Right.
Ole to get the team back. They are there right now, and even City, right? So City, we don't notice. We just look at the table. We don't notice that City has played two matches less. So if they
Right.
win the next two matches, they're top of the table.
Absolutely.
Right. So, all the teams are there. I mean, this is going to be a neck and neck season, right? So, and every little bit of slump will come back to haunt.
Right. Abhro, we talked about the Liverpool defense and obviously the absence of Van Dijk. Any day would be a huge void for any team, and especially in a Liverpool back four. But I mean, if I just go back and if you look at the results from December after the I think win against Wolves, which was a 4-0 victory, they have not really scored enough goals. I think there was a 2-1 victory against Tottenham. Freak, I mean, thumping of Crystal Palace at their home 7-0. But I mean, if you just look at the score sheets, it's a 1-1 against Midtjylland, 1-1 against Fulham, then a 1-1 against West Brom, and then a 0-0 against Newcastle. And
Yeah,
the focus, whenever you look at something like that, the focus shifts to the front three or the front four or the attacking players in the team. And last year Salah, Mane, Firmino, they just blew everyone apart. I mean, we were all in praise for them. And I think you mentioned, right, that the form of Mane has gone down a bit, but you think there is, I mean, any issues with the positioning of the players, or I mean, it's just again, as I said, just maybe how the season is and how the players feel the pressure, because these guys have performed day in day out last season, and suddenly the past 1.5 months they do not seem to be creating those chances, or maybe they're creating those chances, but they're not putting the ball at the back of the net. So, what do you think has happened with those front three or four of Liverpool?
Yeah, so if you see this season, right? So they have been missing a lot of chances which they were scoring last year.
Right,
All three of them, right? So and if you don't kill off games, right? Like in the West Brom game, right? So they were leading 1-0, and at the very last minute, someone West Brom equalized, right? I think after 80 minutes, 85 or something, they equalized.
right.
Not wrong. So
Yeah, it was Semi Ajayi after 82 minutes. Yeah,
yeah, so if you don't kill off games, this is what is going to happen, right? So
right,
in the Premier League, every team has you need just that one chance, then suddenly someone scores, right? So and Liverpool has been quite lax in front of the goal this season. Also, with the style of play, most of the teams are now preferring to sit back against Liverpool, right? And
right,
asking them to have the ball and then going in counter attacks. So, it is very difficult to break down such resolute defenses as well, right? So it
right,
is not so easy. So, in such cases, whatever chances that you have to score, right? So, yeah, Firmino's form has been down. He yeah, I think in a few couple of matches he performed really well, but then again, it has not. He has not been that consistent. Same with Mane. Salah has been scoring, right, but then he has been missing also a lot.
right.
Uh, there is always that question about Salah's decision making, whether he could have passed a couple of those chances. I think with goal scorers like Salah, that question will always be there, right? So he is like
The selfishness. Yeah,
yeah, the
yeah,
little bit of
yeah.
selfishness which is necessary in a striker,
Right,
and which is praised when you are scoring a lot of goals, but when you are
right.
not, that same
Absolutely.
thing comes back to haunt you,
Right,
right? So yeah, Mane's form I think is the main reason that if Salah was not scoring, Mane was scoring, and Mane's form has been not so great uh,
right,
this season. And last year, even from the midfield, people were, in fact, for the Saints game, right? So there was absolutely no shots from the midfield, right?
right,
So previously, Ox, Fabino, from the midfield, he used to take those chances, right? Ox is one other guy who takes those shots from the midfield, right? So sometimes you need to take those chances because if you remember last year, Wijnaldum in the Sheffield United game, Dean Henderson missed just flapped at the ball.
right,
It was a similar game where Liverpool was not able to break down Sheffield, and then one shot like that out from outside the box, and the
right,
goalkeeper fumbled. So you need to make the goalkeeper work, especially in the Southampton game. It was, I think, Alex McCarthy was injured, so it was the number two goalkeeper playing.
right,
So you need to take those chances. You cannot always depend on Salah, Mane, Firmino. I mean, they are also human, right? So their form, it cannot be consistent. I mean, it cannot be the same over 2, 3 seasons, right? So I mean, last 2 seasons, I think they have done fantastically well. Every match in, match out. So there has to be a slump. I think that's why Jota was brought in, and he fit in like perfectly. And now with Jota gone, there is no impact sub who can come from the bench, right? Who's like a proper goal scorer. Origi, I think his days are done at Liverpool. He's just waiting to go out.
I think Jota has been I mean, he was terrific. I think we discussed this also in the
Yes, yes.
podcast. I mean, the initial few games as a sub, and then he started few games. I think he was wonderful as an acquisition, and
Yeah,
that
so,
has
yeah, his loss, and he was in form, right? So he was scoring
right,
goals. He
right,
was. You need that little bit of luck as well, right? So as a striker, where
right,
for those things to happen. Right, so it was happening to him. Sadly, he got injured. So hopefully, we should recover from the slump. And I mean, everyone wants. I mean, I'm sure Jurgen Klopp will get the team motivated uh, for the challenge
Right.
of the season, right? So winning, that's what I mean. Winning a title is one thing, and then defending it is a whole lot
A different ball game. Yeah. It's always the tougher thing to do, I guess, in football.
much tougher.
Abro, Carragher mentioned, I think, sometime last week on Sky that he doesn't see Liverpool winning the title unless they buy another centre back. You think he's right, or and then obviously there has been, I think, a press conference from Jurgen Klopp where he has said that no, we are not going to buy anything because we have to keep. I mean, Liverpool always keeps the finances in their mind when they recruit. So, I mean, it's a pretty, conundrum, I can say, both these statements. So, how do you think the transfer window, which is now open, is going to shape up for Liverpool?
So, I mean, Liverpool always has been. I mean, with Klopp, we have seen that they have always had meticulous planning while buying some player. They very rarely, they have done some panic buying, right? So, and he has
Right,
always been ready to wait for the right player to come in, right? So, be it for VVD or for Fabinho, he has earmarked the players he wants to fit in the team. He wants the team he not just play in a specific way. He also wants the players' characters to be, very, which is very suitable to the team, and it's a very cohesive unit or
right,
together, right? So he wants the, to do a lot of research before getting the players. I think they should go for another defender given the chance that I mean, not only these two are injured, but given the injury records of Matip and even Joe Gomez, he has had injury problems, right? So
right.
in the last season as well, Gomez was out for some time, but it has always been compensated by Van Dijk being the constant, and then Gomez and Matip revolving around him, right? So
Right.
now also both of them always had injury problems, right? So I think you should have someone, one proper defender, right? I mean, not an academy uh, product who is just coming onto the scene, right? So I mean, he can be good for a couple of matches, but to be part of a title winning team, you need to have someone who's established, right? So I think they should buy a defender because this season is not going to be easy, and we never knew, right? I mean, God forbid if Fabinho gets injured, then what will happen, right? So
Right,
there's no one,
right.
right? So who will come and defend? Right? It will probably be Mane defending, or and also one more thing we have that name we have not spoken about this season is Trent is not performing that well. He
Right,
had a
right,
miserable
absolutely.
match against Saints, right? He gave the ball away some 38 times, which has been a record
Yeah,
of sorts.
yeah, yeah.
So, on the other side, though Robertson is performing very well, but it's always has been the two fullbacks, both of them going together, which has created that
Yes,
impact. Right?
right,
So I think that is also another reason that Liverpool has faltered a little bit with Trent not being in form, and for some reason Klopp again does not have that much of trust on Nico Williams, right?
right,
So when he is also not given a consistent run, so which clearly shows that Klopp still thinks that he is not ready.
right.
So
I think the two fullbacks were an integral part of Liverpool last season. I mean, not only the defense, more on the attacking side of their runs and crosses, especially from Trent. I think that Liverpool is missing quite a bit on the right hand side.
absolutely,
Okay, Abhro, so I mean, we were talking about the transfer window, obviously, but the midfield is, I think, one area where Liverpool seems to be prospering really well. I mean, they brought in Alcantara in the summer, and there's one person or one player I'd like to get your thoughts on. That's Curtis Jones, the 19-year-old midfielder. We have heard a lot from the commentators and all, but you personally as a Liverpool fan, and you have seen legends in that midfield in that Liverpool team of yours. How impressed are you with that kid in the midfield of Liverpool?
yeah. So yeah, Curtis Jones has been one ray of hope this season, if we can say so. Right, and of course, any academy player coming, who who's getting established, right? So especially in the midfield, you always get that comparison with Gerrard. Right. So
Right.
it is always great for academy players to come and get a chance. Liverpool, I mean, Jurgen Klopp has been trying to do that. I think there has been many academy players who have come and played for the team, and Trent is being the main example of that. So yeah, and to give credit to Jones, right? I mean, many of these players we have seen initial a few matches, 5 6 matches they perform, and then suddenly they fade away, right? So we have seen many of them over the years
Right.
for every team, right? So have that consistency and that maturity that he has shown. It is quite great, right? Which shows that he is a proper player. Given the chances, he really has the space to improve, mature. He can control games from the midfield, and he really understands, how to when to control how to control the pace of the game, what to do
Right.
with the game. He scored a couple of goals as well, so he is looking really really good. Hopefully, he continues to improve, and in the over the years, he will be one of the mainstays of the team. Hopefully.
Right. I mean, we can, I think, only hope that the season just keeps on throwing surprises like it has done over the last 16, 17 odd games. I think you mentioned in the beginning, this is a very crazy and a different season to the rest of all the seasons that we have witnessed as a football fan. And I think I personally feel anything can happen, and we might have to stick to those last few games to see who's going to lift the title, that kind of a season.
Correct. If the season goes on, I think it is.
If that's yeah, right, absolutely.
Yeah,
I mean,
I think it
I
is
think
going to be.
there's a high chance. I mean, currently with the situation in UK, high chances that
Yeah,
it
it
might.
might be stopped. I think what I was hearing the news now the players are not allowed to even celebrate
Right,
together. So I don't know
right,
how they're going to
right,
play a body contact game like
right.
football.
I mean, it's a very. I think. I mean, if you look at the serious side of it, it's a very serious issue with so many players getting infected and the situation.
Yes, and the problem is, I mean, if you stop, there is so much at stake, right? I mean, with livelihood of people as well, right?
Right,
So
right.
everything is impacted. So I don't know. I hope they handle it well.
Yeah, let's hope so. Okay, Obro, I think we have come to the end of this mini podcast for Liverpool. It's always nice talking to you. Thanks for joining, and I hope Liverpool get back their mojo.
Sure, I hope so too.
Thank you, Obro.